Taking this thumbnail is an arm workout. I am skipping the gym today. Hello, I'm Alexis and welcome to my March TBR. March is such an exciting month. We are getting springtime weather, or at least I'm manifesting that we will be. We have Realmathon that I'm participating in for the first year ever, and so many good books to get to. A main goal for me this month is to get around to a lot of the 2024 releases that I have acquired since January but have not gotten around to yet. I'm giving myself a 3-month window, so if a book comes out in January, I have until March to read it. So I just threw all of the new releases I've gotten so far this year onto this TBR, and we're gonna try and knock them all out and start with a fresh slate going into April. We'll see how I do. Realmathon is a team-based readathon created by Covers with Cassidy. I will link her announcement video, of course. And this is my first year participating, and I have decided to join the Realm of Blood. So there are a lot of prompts. This is a month-long readathon. I won't give you my full TBR because I'm basically just going to take the books already on the TBR and make them work for the prompts. But we get bonus points for being on Team Realm of Blood, and that is to read a red book, a book with a person on the cover, or a book with a school setting. So I did make sure I have a few of these that fit those extra bonus points. Okay, that's enough explaining. Let's just get into all of the wonderful books I'm looking forward to read this month. First up, we have a book that I have already started, and that is What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher. This is the sequel to What Moves the Dead, which was a retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe that came out a year or two ago, and I really liked that one. So this sequel has been highly anticipated from me. T. Kingfisher is one of my favorite authors. I feel like she never disappoints me, and I mean, this cover is stunning. Something about just creepy animals and bones. I love it. The sequel follows the same main character from What Moves the Dead, a soldier named Alex Easton, and they are non-binary. They're coming back from this war that took place. We don't really know too much about it, but in the first one, they went to visit a friend and things went down. There were some creepy mushrooms that were controlling people, so I'm not sure what to expect from this one. I don't think it's another retelling. I could be wrong, but it doesn't say anywhere that it is. So far with this one, Alex is returning home, and just something weird is going on at home. There's mention of moths and dreams, and I mean, the inside is stunning. Look at those moths. Another foiled one on the front. So I'm hoping I'll be able to finish this one today. It's a nice short one, and I'm ready for a creepy good time. Oh, and this one does fit for Realmathon because red cover. Next up is another 2024 release that also fits a Realmathon prompt, and that is An Education Malice by S.T. Gibson. This one is said to be like a companion novel to A Dowry of Blood, one of my favorite books of all time, and this one is a retelling of Carmilla. If you don't know, Carmilla is this really old vampire story. It's maybe one of the first vampire stories ever written, and it's about a vampire woman named Carmilla who seduces another woman named Laura. And at the time, it was actually written as like lesbian propaganda, you know, saying that lesbians are evil bloodsuckers out to corrupt young women. Now, years later, the queer community has really adopted it as like this sapphic vampire story. And I'm completely expecting S.T. Gibson to do the same and make it even more queer. And I'm just so excited for this. So this one is a modern retelling of the classic vampire tale, and it takes place at a present-day university, I think. I'm pretty sure it's present day. It says it's dark academia full of blood, secrets, and insatiable hungers. I know I'm going to eat this up. Okay, yeah, it's a women's college, and it doesn't say what year it takes place in, but I'm pretty sure it's present day. Okay, I'm kidding. It starts out in 1968, so sort of present day, a little bit in the past, but I'm even more excited now that it takes place in the late 60s, early 70s. This is going to be so fun. Next up, I have my nonfiction pick of the month. Every month of the year, I am trying to read one nonfiction book, and for March, I decided to go with Tess of the Duvervilles. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. And that is by Thomas Hardy. This cover just screams spring to me. And the one thing I want out of March is to manifest spring. It is actually 60 degrees out right now, which I am living for. It was snowing literally like 2 days ago here, but I live in upstate New York, so the weather changes like hourly. I can just picture myself sitting outside in the sun on a blanket, reading this big chunky classic. I really don't know what this one is about. I did read another Thomas Hardy in college. I read From the Maddening Crow, something like that. And I didn't really appreciate it at the time. I would like to go back and reread it, but I've heard really great things about this one, and I just know it's like a pastoral novel. It takes place on the countryside. It says Tess is an impressionable country girl caught between a wealthy cousin who seduces her and an unforgiving provincial husband. She finds she has no means of escaping her fate save a desperate and irresistible act. This one sounds like Anna Karenina, which is one of my favorite classics of all time, so we will see if it is as drama heavy as that one, but I'm hoping for a love story between her and the cousin. Hopefully this one is good. It better be for this big of a book. A little over 500 pages, including all of the footnotes. It's fine. It'll be good. Also on the March TBR, of course, is the Literally Dead book club pick for March, which is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Q. Sutanto. This will be my second Jessie Q. Sutanto book. I read Dial A for Aunties last year, and I loved it. It was so fun. I'm hoping this one is just as wild of a time. Her writing reminds me a lot of the Finley Donovan series. It's just these wacky circumstances that our characters find themselves in, and you have no idea how they're gonna get out of it. So this one follows Vera, and she owns a tea shop. And one morning, she walks into the tea shop to open up for the day, and there is a dead body in the middle of her shop. And in his hand is a flash drive. So of course, Vera calls the police, but not before taking that flash drive out of his hands and hiding it, because she believes she can solve this murder better than the police. I mean, honestly, she's probably right. I am completely expecting Vera to be like this sassy grandma character. If she's anything like the aunties in Dial A for Aunties, I know I will be eating this up and I'll finish it in no time. So super excited to get to this one. Next up is another 2024 release, and that is The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. This will also fit for Realmathon because people on the cover, along with the last two, Tess and Vera, had people on the cover. So Crystal Sutherland is the author of House of Hollows, which is one of my favorite YA horror books of all time. The horror in it was so effective. It was some of the best body horror I have ever read. I still think about the flowers in that book, like to this day. Every once in a while, it will just pop up and be like, oh, what if? So in this one, there are 3 women working together to track down a supernatural killer. And in this world, there's the added threat of women have supernatural abilities and can practice magic, but the men who know about it are tracking them down and trying to kill them. So I'm so ready. And judging by the art, I hope this one is going to be so terrifying. I showed this off in one of my vlogs, but this is the Evernight by Illumicrate edition, and it is gorgeous. I think this is the prettiest book I own. I mean, look at these sprayed edges. How does somebody do something like that? And then this, and I just noticed, look at this creepy guy. And then the hand coming out of the bush. Oh, I am so ready for it. This one better live up to how beautiful it is, or I will be so disappointed. Along with my classics goal, I also have a goal to read a nonfiction book every month. And for March, I am going to read The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. This is a true story of love, crime, and dangerous obsession. And look, another person on the cover, so Realmathon points. I almost bought this one so many times in the bookstore. I would walk past it, see the bat. If you didn't know, I am absolutely obsessed with bats. So I put it on my Christmas wish list, and my partner ended up buying it for me, and I just want to get into it right now. I cannot believe I have never heard of this person. This is about Stefan Breitweiser, and he is the most prolific art thief of all time. He pulled off more than 200 heists, often in crowded museums in broad daylight. His girlfriend served as his accomplice. His collection was worth an estimated $2 billion. He never sold a piece, displaying his stolen art in his attic bedroom. Like, why are we not learning about this person? This sounds incredible. I love learning about weird historical things like this, so I cannot wait to hear how this guy managed to pull this off. A book that I don't yet have, but I'm hoping to get before the end of the month is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairy by Heather Fawcett. This was on everybody's favorite book of last year, and last year when it came out, I told myself I wasn't gonna read it because fairies aren't my thing. Romance fantasy really isn't my thing. But since reading Serpent and the Wings of Night, I am rethinking that, and hearing so many people that have similar taste in me, this being on their top books of last year, I have to give it a try. So I have a holdout at my library for it, so hopefully I will get it before the month is over. But if not, I believe the ebook is available right away with no wait, so I can always read on my Kindle if I need to. This book is just so stunning. I'm really hoping I love it. That way I can buy a physical edition. But we're gonna be good. We're not gonna buy it just in case it's not my thing. This one is pretty self-explanatory. It's about a scientist named Emily Wilde, and she studies fairies. And she is going on a trip to this place where fairies exist, and she is writing an encyclopedia. And I know in this one there is a rival scientist who ends up going with her, and they're kind of forced to work together, and romance ensues. So yeah, I'm hoping I do really like this one. I don't have a good history with fairies. They are just not my favorite magical creature, but I am willing to give this one a shot, and it is on my 12 books I want to read in 2024, so that will tick off another book on my way to completing that goal for the year. Another book on that list of mine is Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Something else that is a common theme is a lot of the books I picked are green. That wasn't intentional, but I think subconsciously I associate March with the color green, of course. So yeah, that's cool. I have this one, The Art Thief was kind of green, and I have a few more really green books coming up. So this is another book that everybody was raving about last year, so I had to put it on my top priority list for this year. This is actually one that I recommended to my partner, and he read it last month. He actually borrowed my tabs and tabbed it up. I showed him how to do it and how to make them all even so they're not sticking out all messy. He did a really good job. But I'm so excited to get to his tabbed parts and see what he thought. I mean, I know what he thought. He has been raving about this book since February when he read it. He keeps asking me almost daily, when are you gonna get to Tress? So I decided not to make him wait any longer, and I will be reading it in March. I am using this one to fulfill my buzzword reading challenge prompt for March, which is to read a book with a character's name in the title. Actually, a lot of the books I have on this TBR fulfill that. So if you're looking for a recommendation, I have a whole list of them, but this is the one I decided to go with. In this book, we follow Tress, and the love of her life is sent off on a ship to go find another wife. I believe his ship gets lost or something, and Tress has to go rescue her man. I know this one has to do with pirate ships, and it's just a whimsical story, and I think there's like a talking rat maybe. I am so excited for a cozy good time with this one. Another book club I participate in is the Full Moon Book Club, and for March we are reading Bonesmith by Nikki Pau Preto. One is a fantasy book, so I am excited to give it a try. I've heard that it's a really great adventure story, so hopefully I will fly through it. How big are you? Almost 500 pages, so not too bad, could be worse. But I'm hoping this one doesn't take me too long to read. In this one, our main character, Ren, is training to be a Valkyrie, but during her qualifying trial, she is sabotaged and ends up failing, leaving her banished to the border wall. And the border wall is the last line of defense against the breach, which is a wasteland where the dead roam. So we've got a badass main character fighting the dead, and it sounds like it's gonna be a really fun time. Ooh, this is another one where the main character is rescuing the love interest. Just love a badass female main character. And the last green book on my TBR is Come and Get It by Kylie Reed. This is also a 2024 release that I am so excited to get to. Kylie Reid is the author of Such a Fun Age, and I loved that book. I remember reading it in one day. I was sitting outside in my hammock. It was summertime. I just sat there all day. Like, the sun was literally setting around me. I was using the porch light to read from because I did not want to stop to go inside. And I remember my neighbor came home and I ended up scaring him because he did not expect somebody to be out at night on the porch. So I'm really hoping this one is just as addictive. Kylie Reid's writing is so beautiful. And look at this cover. If I didn't already love Kylie Reid, like, I might have bought this just for the cover. I love a pig. I love his little snout on the spine. I mean, come on. This one is also good for Realmathon because it takes place at a college. We have a student and I believe a professor. I think they start working on a project together and they just get in too far over their heads. It says both Millie and Agatha are forced to question just how much of themselves they are willing to trade to get what they want. So we'll see what that means, but I am ready for the drama. Okay, we have 3 more. I know, I feel like I've been talking for an hour. Next up, a highly anticipated new release for me, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have loved all of Ali Hazelwood's other books, so when I heard she was writing a vampire werewolf romance, I ordered it immediately and I am so excited to be getting to it. I think this one is an enemies to lover. I think they are rival vampire werewolf clans and it's a marriage of convenience, maybe to create peace between their clans. I could be making that up, but I have heard nothing but good things. Everybody is loving this one. They say it is so steamy. So I am thinking I'm going to take this one on my trip with me to Florida, maybe read it by the beach. Maybe I don't want to read it in public though. We will see. I also don't know if I can wait that long. Like, I want to start all of these today. I can't even pick which one I'm most excited for. This next one is a little bit out of my comfort zone, but again, I am feeling like a new woman since reading The Serpent and the Wings of Night last month. So I have decided to give Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber a try. So a few reasons for this one. One, it is loved. I can't think of a single person who has read this that didn't like it. 2, my friends in real life have been bugging me to read it for a while. And 3, you know those Instagram posts where it's like, read these books for your zodiac sign. There was one, if I can find it, I'll insert it here, but it was a while ago. There was one for Tauruses. I'm a Taurus. And all of the other books on their list I loved and gave 5 stars, and this was the only one that I had not read yet. So obviously, based on that logic, I should love this one. This is another one I got from the library because I just don't want to risk it. I'm really trying to be better about buying books this year. So until I know for sure that I like it, I will not be spending my money on it. And I just love going to my library, so any excuse to take out books from them, I'm gonna take it. It's like, it gives me the serotonin of book shopping, but I don't spend any money. So that's a win-win for me. What is this one about? I don't even know. How far would you go for happily ever after? Evangeline Fox believes in true love and happy endings. She learns that the love of her life will marry another. Okay, so again, Tress of the Emerald Sea vibes. Desperate to stop the wedding, she strikes a deal with a charismatic but wicked Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at any time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is a dangerous game, and that the Prince of Hearts wants far more from her than she pledged. Ooh, this one sounds like a good time. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for Evangeline to fall for the Prince of Hearts because we just love a bad boy, but we'll have to see what happens. Okay, we have finally made it to the last book, and that is The Chain by Adrienne McKenty. This is one that I have been meaning to get to for literal years. So if I do not read this one this month, I'm going to be so disappointed in myself. Well, I was making my March TBR. I was really just craving a good thriller. It's been a while. Like, I can't even remember the last thriller I read, and I used to be really up to date with them. Like, I was reading all of the new releases, and I couldn't even think of any of the newer releases that are out right now. So I do have a thrillery vlog in the works where I am going to be trying to read a lot of the new releases that I've missed in the last 2 or 3 years. Of course, that is if I finish all of these other books in time. Otherwise, that might have to wait until April. But for that vlog, if you have a favorite thriller that came out in the last 2-ish years, please let me know. I'm looking for all the recommendations. But The Chain is about testing a parent's limit to see how far they would go for their child. So this one starts out with our main character, Rachel. She drops her daughter off at school, gets to work, and checks her phone to see she has a text from an unknown number saying, I have your daughter, you need to pay X amount in ransom and kidnap another child to get her back. So in this, we have this chain of kidnaps happening. I've heard such good things about this one, so I can't believe it's taken me this long to get to it, but I'm hoping I can just fly through it. I usually can with thrillers because I just can't wait. I need to know how they end. And I've heard this one is a really wild good time. Okay, that is it for my very ambitious March TBR. I'm going to have to check and see what audiobooks are available because I do not think I'll be able to get through all of these books physically this month, but we can try, especially with me traveling later in the month, but a girl can dream. If you made it this far into the video, please leave me a green heart emoji for March and all of the green springtime books that I'm trying to manifest good weather with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you read a good book today, and I will see you soon in my next one. Bye.